Hiya folks, so this is about how to integrate trig functions and e as well, so e to the x. So if we start with trig functions, so if you think back to differentiation, so when we were integrating something like sin x, so we're only really dealing with sin and cos here because they're the most important ones, so there are others as well, but you can just follow the log tables for those. So if I was differentiating sin x, that always went to cos x. And if I was differentiating cos x, that went to minus sin x. That was when we were differentiating. But we're not thinking of differentiating now. We're thinking of integration. So it'll work the opposite way around. So it'll go the opposite way. So cos will actually go to sin, and minus sin goes to cos, so therefore sin will go to minus cos. So when we're integrating, cos x will go to sin x, and then sin x will actually go to minus cos x because the minus is there. So if I was integrating something like, let's just say if we were integrating cos of maybe 7x or something like that, if I was integrating that, I know because of integrating it will go to sin, so an integration, that's the symbol for it, so it would be sin of 7x. But think about it, when I was differentiating before, if I was differentiating something, I would then multiply by, we had to use chain rule, so I would multiply by the differential of what is in here. So it would be like I'd be multiplying by a 7, but that was for differentiation. So it's integration now, so it's the opposite. So we're actually going to do the opposite of that. So I'm going to take the differential of what is in here, which would be 7 in this case, and I'm going to divide it by, so it's going to be sin 7x over 7, and that would be the answer then, and your plus c. So it's important with integration as well. So a couple of things, so these things are in the log table, so there's an integration page, so cos goes to sin goes to minus cos, so they're things that you'll see and know anyway. The biggest thing really is that you'll always be dividing now by the differential of what is inside the so it's like we're still using chain rule, but not really, we're just using the opposite of what we would have done in differentiation. Let's consider e to the x now. So for differentiation, right, so e to the x just differentiate to e to the x. So therefore for integration it's going to be the opposite way around, but it's the same thing. So e to the x will still go to e to the x. So the main thing that we have to know here is that if I had e to the power of, so just say 8x, something like that, so when I was differentiating over here, e to the 8x, that would change to, when you differentiate it, it would change to e to the 8x, but then we multiplied by the differential of what was in the power, so there it would be 8, so that would actually change to 8 e to the 8x. But kind of similar to the trig functions, we're going to do the opposite now. So instead of in differentiation you end up multiplying by it, what we're going to do with integration is we're going to end up dividing by the differential of what is in the power. So that answer to that would be e to the 8x over 8, and then your plus c. So this breaks down a little bit of the rules then. So you see e to the x, then so it's the yellow boxes that are the integration. So e to the x changed to e to the x plus c. If you're integrating e to the ax, it will always be 1 over a, so whatever the differential in the power is, e to the ax plus c. And then the same, so these are cos goes to sin, and sin goes to minus cos, and then cos of ax, it'll be sin of ax over a, because like what we said above. So let's look at a few examples here then. So integral of e to the 3x, so that will be e to the 3x, but then it'll be over 3, and my plus c is there. Next one, e to the 4x will be e to the 4x, so it stays the same, but then I divide by 4, or you could put 1 over 4 in front of it, it doesn't really matter. If I integrate 6x, it'll be 6x squared over 2 and plus c, so that will just end up being 3x squared. That's a quarter. You can write it as a quarter e to the 4x if you want, you don't have to. So plus c. Right, e to the 5x will be e to the 5x all over 5 plus 2x plus c. So 2, when it's integrated, becomes 2x. And then last one, e to the x by itself is just e to the x. It will be kind of over 1, but that doesn't make a difference. So now that will be, so plus it'll just be e to the minus x, but then I divide by the differential of what is in here would be minus 1. That's minus 1, and then plus c, so it will be e to the x minus e to the minus x plus c. And that's it. Right, a couple of more examples of trig functions then. So if you look back above, cos will change to sin. So it will be sin of 4x, but then I divide by the differential of what is in here, which is 4. And that's it, plus c. Then sin, when you integrate sin, it actually goes to minus cos. So it'll be minus cos of 3x all over 3 plus c. And that's it. Can't do any more with that. Right, if you want to try these quickly, it's just a few, and then if you want to pause the video and play it on, I'll go through the answers to them. Right, so the first one, it will just be e to the 3x, and then it's all over 3 plus 4x plus c. Second one, it would be 4. 4 doesn't really make a difference here because we'll be dividing anyway. So 4e to the half, and then it will be all over a half. Now what happens here is, you should have seen this before, really when there's a half below the line, that's the same thing as dividing by a half. So you can flip it and multiply. So you can flip it and multiply by 2 over 1. So that's the same thing as multiplying by 2. So really you're just multiplying the top by 2. So that will just be, it should be plus c anyway. So that will just be 8e to the power of a half plus c. Right, this one here then, it will be cos will change to sin when you're integrating. So it'll be 3 sin of 6x, and then it'll be all over 6 plus c. So that's the same as sin 6x, the 3 and the 6 will cancel out, you're left with a 2 on the bottom plus c. Right, this one, it will be cos, cos changes to sin, so it'll be sin of 2x all over 2 minus sin will change to minus cos, so it's minus cos of 5x all over 5. So we have minus minus here, so it'll be, and my plus c in here as well, so it'll be sin 2x over 2 plus, because it'll have minus minus, cos of 5x over 5. And plus c, and that's it.